the Kings, the Spurs, the young Spurs might be the fastest team in the bubble, and if it's not them, it's probably the normal Kings. Um, we can start with the bad because De'Aaron Fox absolutely cooked tonight. He had 39 points. He was roasting everybody that tried to guard him. Uh, I asked Derek what makes him a tough cover, and he just said fast as hell, uh, shifty. He's tough. He's a problem, and he got Dejounte into foul trouble pretty early in the game. Um, and when that happened, to start the second half, Popovich put Keldon Johnson in instead of DeJounte Murray. So Keldon's role has been improved greatly, and he played down the stretch in this game too. Um, but the Spurs, the young Spurs especially, right out of the gate, Derek and DeJounte combined for 13 of the Spurs' first 16 points. And Derek White finished tonight with 26 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 turnovers, 5 charges, and 1 chipped tooth. That guy, I mean, like I said during the game, there should be an award for the guy who gets the most charges, and it should be called the Derek White Award. Um, he is just so good in so many different aspects of the game. He was a team high, game high, plus 19 when he was on the floor tonight. Um, it was awesome to watch. And then DeMar DeRozan, uh, he had one of those first halves where I was like, okay, I know he's going to come on in the second half. You know, when he's taking it real slow, setting everybody up. He went into the fourth quarter with 10 assists and 10 points. And 10 points for 3 quarters of work. That's not really up to his potential for what he can do. But he's just pacing himself because he knows that when it comes to winning time, he's gonna take the shots. He scored 17 points in the fourth quarter and didn't have an assist. He took over, and the Spurs needed it because the Kings were battling in this game for the whole time. Um, why was this game so close? Well, uh, the Kings got out in transition so many times. Spurs only turned it over 15 times. Not the worst. They cleaned it up as the game went on, but the Kings push on everything. They push on turnovers. They push on misses. They push on made baskets, um, and that's where De'Aaron Fox did a lot of his damage. There were some mismatches that came out of it. That's what they do best. When they win games, it's because the Kings are pushing in transition. Um, but the Spurs have their own pretty deadly transition attack between Murray, White, Walker, DeRozan, uh, Keldon Johnson. Even Marco Bellinelli had a steal and then went coast to coast. Uh, that was an awesome moment. Marco, unfortunately, sprained his ankle in, I believe, the first half and missed the rest of the game. Not sure what, you know, somebody asked Pop after the game and he gave no update. Um, and so with the guard depth kind of front loaded into that starting lineup, um, we saw different players. Yeah, somebody just mentioned here in the chat, Q Weatherspoon came into the game, and he played 10 solid minutes. Played nice defense. He looked tentative, which you understand, right? I mean, he just you know he hasn't played much all year, and now he's being thrown into a meaningful game, meaningful minutes in a meaningful game. Um, and so he was deferring to the people around him. Um, Look to see him get more comfortable, especially if he gets more minutes. If Patty stays out, if Bryn stays out, if Marco stays out. Um, and it was interesting before the game. Coach Pop said, Patty's healthy. He's just holding him out for other reasons. Um, yeah, Dominic, good question on why isn't Patty playing? Um, if I had to guess, it's because Pop wants to see how much he can get out of these young guys. He's said repeatedly that this season is about this portion of the season is about development. And yeah, it's one of those things where if anybody on the team were to have that attitude where, Pop came up to him and said, I want to get these young guys some run in here. Would you mind taking a back seat or, even walking? I I have no doubt that Patty would grab the clipboard and say, sure. So that's an interesting thing for us to pay attention to for the rest of this restart is the Spurs' depth. And Rudy Gay, 19 points tonight. I don't know what's gotten into him, but he's knocking down his threes, and it's a pretty beautiful thing. He was 3 of 5 from deep tonight. He shot 31% from three in the regular season. So, especially with the front court depth an issue for the Spurs, if he can not only play effective minutes and do what he always has done as Rudy Gay, tough buckets inside, ISO on the block, but also confidently knock down that three ball. That's huge for him. That's huge for the team because there's some lineups where he might be the five. Speaking of five centers, Jakob Poeltl, 7 points tonight, 6 rebounds, 4 on the offensive end. And, just a guy who does his job. I'm never expecting anything crazy in the box score from Jak, but I am expecting solid play all around in what he does. He was the one guy that stopped De'Aaron Fox tonight. De'Aaron Fox tried to yam on him, and Poeltl made a really, really nice block on that play. But this is a game full of wonderful takeaways for the Spurs. They played that starting lineup in those first 3 scrimmages to help that unit build chemistry. And we're starting to see that chemistry. These are guys that like playing together. They like driving and kicking and driving and kicking, and the offense breathes a little bit. It's really fun to watch, and you can tell that they've got that chemistry. So as for Bryn, yeah, good question. During the broadcast, I think it was Bill Land said that Bryn was out for the restart. I don't think that's true. I think it was sort of a slip of the tongue. I think he might have misspoke because pregame Pop said that Bryn was a little dinged up and they were just holding him out for this game. So not sure there. Definitely another situation that we'll monitor. But, you never want to see injuries as the reason a guy isn't playing, right? But now with Marco and Bryn hurt, Pop's going to be forced to play those young guys like Quindary. It's one of those situations where you play the next man up, and it's not good for the Spurs that Bryn and Marco are hurt, and it's certainly not good for them. But it is good for the Spurs that they have players like Keldon Johnson, like Quindary Weatherspoon, who have versatile defensive skill sets, and who can take advantage of those minutes. So another good question in here: why did it take Pop so long to play DeJounte and Derek together? It's a good question. It's a question that I have been asking myself for a large portion of the season. I don't know. I don't know why it took so long. Apparently, they're not reading our tweets, but maybe maybe that's what happened. Maybe they got really bored during quarantine. Maybe Pop made a burner account, started scrolling. He was like, oh, Derek and DeJounte together, that could work. I don't know. It probably wasn't that. But the important thing is they're playing together now, and they look pretty darn good. Um, it's really a luxury for this Spurs team to have a starting lineup with four guys who are all larger guards. So they're playing small ball, but they're playing it with, four larger guards, three of whom have earned their place in the league through playing defense. And so that allows them to do a lot of different things defensively. It's fun to watch this group, and not just fun to watch them learn and develop, but fun to watch them win basketball games. And they won one that mattered tonight, and it mattered a lot. Because right now, if you look at the standings, the Spurs are just a couple games back of the Grizzlies now. And they are currently in the 10th seed, just about a game behind the Trailblazers, if I have that right. Yeah, standings haven't updated yet, but when they do, the Spurs are going to be a half game behind the Trailblazers, who are in the 9th seed. So it's right there. They came in and it felt like pretty long odds, and it is still long odds that the Spurs will make this run and get into that 9th seed and play in for that last playoff spot. But it's not as much of a long shot as it's been made out to be. It's not going to be impossible. It's a goal that's well within reach. And I asked Rudy Gay after the game, how in reach does it feel? And he gave the smart, media savvy answer, which is we're taking things one game at a time. And I believe that. You focus on your next opponent. You focus on what you can do better for the next game. But I wouldn't write off the Spurs. I think anybody who has written off the Spurs in the past 22 years has been sorely disappointed. And I'm not going to do that. This was a really fun game to watch. I'm expecting another really fun game to watch when the Spurs take on the Memphis Grizzlies. Had the Grizzlies won tonight, the Spurs would be in that 9th seed. But Portland beat them, so they're not. But, all you can do if you're the Spurs is take care of business. And they got off to a great start with that today. But yeah, I just want to close with some thoughts on Derek White, man. That kid was all over the place tonight and shot 4-9 from 3, no conscience. His confidence is the biggest thing. This was a record high scoring night for him in the regular season anyway. And when he is playing at that high level, the entire team around him plays better. I don't know if 5 drawn charges is an NBA record. I don't think it could be. I bet someone somewhere out there got 6. But it's every single game he gets multiple charges. And there was one tonight where he did it in the middle of a fast break to just fully stop it. Send the ball the other way. It was a guaranteed 2 points for Sacramento, and he took it off the board. First team all hustle, just wonderful. Oh, we got stats in the chat. This is the first game since 2015-16, since they started tracking hustle stats, that somebody had 5 charges in the game. That's crazy. Thank you for that. Wild. Yeah, no, he's so good. He's so good, and the Spurs' future is in a lot of different hands, but they're all good. Uh, so yeah, can't really ask for much more out of the Spurs from their first game. Maybe some transition defense. I'm sure Pop will have something to say in the film session. But I mean, we just watched a meaningful Spurs basketball game, and they won it. Uh, so I'll be happy about that for a little while till the next one. Um, be sure to have post game up soon with all the quotes from everybody who was interviewed. Yes, before I go, Jako's perimeter defense was great. There was one time where he was switched out onto Buddy Hield there on an island and stayed in front for as long as he could. And then once he got past, he did a great job protecting the rim. Uh, he's not going to do too much out there offensively, but he can move his feet on D. Um, yeah, another really solid young player on this Spurs team. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in here on the Big Fun Post Game Show from Kent's Five. We're going to be doing this after every game, uh, the 7 remaining, and then after they make that 9 seed, all of the games after that. Yeah, we're going to go. We're going to do it. I'm excited. Uh, so keep it here, and I will see you next time. Um, as always, go Spurs, go. Have a good night, everybody.